Welcome to another edition of Let's Play WCW 2000, and let's hope that maybe, just maybe, things don't get as awkward as they did on Monday Nitro. From me not knowing what to say, or really just not knowing how much to say in the period of for each segment. Let me slide this over here. Fact of the matter is, before I get to Thunder, let me just say this, that we are building 2 weeks from Sunday. For the first time since 1997, Sold Out will not lead off the year as the first pay-per-view of the new year. It will be Mayhem. Yes, I am well aware that the first Mayhem pay-per-view actually took place back in November, but I don't really care. Sold Out was a part of the old regime and needed to go. Yes, I'm well aware that if you look at the other pay-per-view names, actually I could just do that: Super Brawl, Uncensored, Slamboree, Bash at the Beach. The only other one that's different is Wrestle War. Wrestle War, yes, if you were a long-time fan of WCW, is actually a pay-per-view that they had back in the early 90s. And discontinued when... Wait. Oh, Regal's working. Okay. And discontinued as they basically, for lack of a better word, were looking to find what works. Now, speaking of looking to find what works, I'm looking to find if I want to do a tag team match or a singles match. I think I'm gonna do a singles match, and I think the person I'm gonna use is the guy I got on a one-night contract in Adam Pearce. And it just so happens that the person he will be going up against is the artist formerly known as Prince Ayakea. And Prince will get the victory on the second pre-show match of the night. The first being the one that you're about to see, Shane Douglas up against Steve Armstrong. I apologize. This really doesn't bring me to a high point. This isn't a high point for Douglas if he can't work on the pre-show with a jobber. Yes, fine, don't blame it on Douglas, but I mean, wasn't that good? Okay, if I want to put pressure on Douglas, then I have to put a lot of pressure on Prince Ayakea, because if Douglas's performance wasn't good, then Prince Ayakea's was downright embarrassing. Which, getting a 33 on a pre-show match as your in-ring performance, I'm going to tell you, that's why you're on the pre-show, and also, maybe you shouldn't be on the regular show if that's how bad you do in the ring. But this is based off the game, not my own personal opinion. I always thought that Prince Ayakea was relatively good in the ring. Not great, but I would say average. Same with Douglas. Or Douglas could have a good match depending on who he's with, as could Prince Ayakea. But that's beside the point. Let's get to the opening segment of the show, and that is with the total package Lex Luger, who is talking about the World Title Tournament and the ramifications the tournament has now that it is for the to determine the new World's Heavyweight Champion. Package talks about how he's never gotten the respect he deserved in this company. Package talks about how management knew, or the matchmaking committee knew, that if they put him in the ring with Roddy Piper, that Roddy Piper would not walk out of the ring. Because, as he says, I'd break him in half with a torture rack. And that is what I plan on doing to anyone who stands in my way of becoming the new WCW World Champion. Speaking of anybody, Rick Steiner makes his way out to the ring because, as it turns out, Total Package is not facing Roddy Piper and is not facing Jeff Jarrett. Rick Steiner is the only one left. Rick Steiner is the other person in the loser's bracket of the World Title Tournament. And if you want to know why there's a loser's bracket, well, it wasn't a single elimination tournament. It was a double elimination tournament. So, that means this Monday night on Nitro, Rick Steiner will go one-on-one against the Total Package, and Steiner says, Lex, all this talk about legacy, all this talk about history, all this talk about how things used to be, well, me and you, Lex, have been here for a long time, and there was a time when we were friends. But I'm telling you, Luger, I'm telling you, don't underestimate me, because you will regret it. I promise you that. I'll see you on Nitro. Now, with all that aside that you just saw, we move to the first match of the night, and the opening match is to determine who will let's put it this way. It was announced prior at the beginning of the show that we will crown the new WCW World Television Champion tonight, just like Terry Funk said that we will be crowning either a United States Champion or a Television Champion tonight on Thunder, and that is exactly what's going to happen, as there will be 2 Fatal 4-Way matches tonight, and the winners of each match will advance into the championship bout to crown the new WCW Television Champion. And the first of 2 television qualifying matches, I guess, was won by Lord Steven Regal. And this is also the first you get to see Evan Courageous and the Cat. But either way, but it isn't the last you're gonna see of Steven Regal, as Steven advances to the title match later tonight to crown the new television champion. Now we move forward as Bam Bam Bigelow comes out to the ring and issues an open challenge to have anyone in the back come to the ring and fight him for his hardcore championship in a hardcore match right now, right here. And it doesn't take long for that challenge to be accepted, as the challenge is accepted by Brian Knobbs. And unfortunately, Bam Bam and Brian underwhelm in their match, and Brian underwhelms with the stamina he has left over. I mean, if he's getting visibly tired by the end of a 8-minute match, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for Brian Knobbs in WCW, but he has job security with a certain friend of his preventing him from getting released. But either way, not exactly the match that I thought I would see from Brian Knobbs and Bam Bam Bigelow. But now we move forward as we get backstage with Mean Gene Okerlund, who's standing by with Kevin Sullivan and the Varsity Club. As Gene Okerlund asks Kevin Sullivan what it would mean if Rick Steiner and Mike Rotunda were able to walk out of the Beaumont Civic Center tonight, the new WCW World Tag Team Champions. And all Sullivan says is, we were once on top, and we will be again. This is just the beginning. I really don't know how Kevin Sullivan was taken as a babyface, because I can never picture him being taken as a babyface. In another match that somewhat underwhelmed, and I guess I can just look at the participants in the match and see why. But either way, the second of two qualifying matches to see who will advance to the television title match later tonight is won by Screamin' Norman Smiley, after Norman defeated Johnny the Bull, Hugh Morris, and Lash LaRue in a fatal 4-way. Ignore that. Now we move to the tag team title match. Now we move to the tag team title match as the Varsity Club goes up against the Filthy Animals, Conan and Mysterio, and, would you believe it, Rick Steiner and Mike Rotunda are the new WCW World Tag Team Champions, after the Revolution make their presence felt in the match and cost the Filthy Animals the tag team titles. And though a tainted win, it is still a huge win for the veterans, Rotunda and Rick Steiner. Post-match, as it takes a little bit away from the victory, but you still notice a heated stare-down between the Revolution and Mysterio and Conan. Things are far from over between Douglas, Saturn Malenko, and Conan, Mysterio, and Guerrero. Now we head backstage with Mike Sanders. With Norman Smiley, we see Norman Smiley warming up for his match against Steven Regal. And of course, career coach Mike Sanders comes into the camera shot, and you see it. Sanders, Mike Sanders once again gives Norman a business card and says, "Have you lost? Have you lost since I got your attention? Just think about it. That's all I ask. Just think about it." Oh, let me slide down the mouse a little bit. I'm not clicking on it. Don't pay attention to it. Norman's not ready to turn yet. We move forward and we see the next match. It is for the WCW World Television Championship, and Norman Smiley gets the win after his career coach Mike Sanders, or the man who wants to be his coach Mike Sanders, gets involved in the match and accidentally hits Steven Regal, costing Regal the match and giving Norman the win. I say accidentally because you can't see it, but I'm doing the air quotes, because think about it, with how attached Sanders and Smiley have been since the start of this, do you really think it was an accident, him helping Norman win? But either way, that's the end of it between Norman and Sanders for right now. But all you need to know is Sanders helped Norman win the WCW television title, and that's a heck of a lot more than Norman did without Mike Sanders. But now a graphic flashes up as the announcers put over the fact that this Monday night on Nitro, the main event will be a second round match between Diamond Dallas Page and Scott Steiner, where the winner will advance to the round 3 match, round 3, and the winner will advance on to face the winner of Ric Flair and Sid Vicious, which is main eventing Thunder tonight. Now we head backstage as the Macho Man enters the office of Commissioner Funk, and Macho Man has one question for the Commissioner, and his question is, when is the Macho Man gonna be featured in another match in the tournament, or did you forget about the Macho Man? Mach, you, my friend, will be featured Monday on Nitro against the other individual that advances, because there is a losers bracket match tonight, and there will be one on Nitro. So you, Macho Man, will be going up against the winner of the losers bracket on Thunder, because the losers bracket winner will be crowned this Monday night on Nitro, and you will face the winner. Can you dig it? Here is where Funk makes the main event official between Sid Vicious and Ric Flair. Speaking of the losers bracket, what would tonight be without me living up to my end of the bargain? As I said on Nitro, that you would see one losers bracket match and one winners bracket match, and the losers bracket match that you are seeing is Jeff Jarrett versus Roddy Piper, and Jarrett continues to impress with his in-ring performances thus far in the season, as Jarrett gets one step closer to victory, as all he has to do is defeat the winner of Rick Steiner versus the Total Package. Then he will be the one facing Randy Savage next week on Thunder. Because right now, Double J is in the finals of the losers bracket to face the winner of Steiner versus Luger, which will happen this Monday Night on Nitro, as not only will you see Steiner versus Luger, but you will also see the winner of that match against Jarrett. And now, once again, Jeff displays his hatred for the Nature Boy and goes on to say that he's going to stay at ringside for Flair's match against Sid tonight in the main event. As Ric Flair defeats Sid Vicious, and much like Jeff Jarrett, Ric Flair continues to impress with his in-ring performances thus far, and it is making it all the more difficult to pick who will win the WCW World Title come Mayhem. But I do know this. I can tell you that there is a feud, a heated rivalry developing between Jeff Jarrett and Ric Flair during this tournament that I think will supersede the tournament, meaning it won't matter if Jeff wins or Flair wins. The tournament, there is a more personal vendetta with Jarrett and Flair. After an incredibly good Nitro, we unfortunately lose what we made back this past Monday Night on Nitro with a pretty lackluster Thunder. Well, as you heard me say more than once during the show, a lot of these matches did not live up to expectations. Namely, the hardcore title match between Bam Bam and Brian Knobbs, and the Fatal 4-Way, which was the second Fatal 4-Way won by Norman Smiley. I thought that match was going to be a little bit better too. But then again, I thought Shane Douglas wasn't going to get a 48, so I don't feel so guilty about putting Shane on the pre-show. But I will say, as far as things go, it takes time to get a direction headed in the right way. And it takes time to stabilize a very unstable company like WCW at this time. But I will say this, let me know down in the comment section what you liked from this show, if anything, and also what you hated, because as always, feedback is more than welcome and appreciated. But also, if you liked the video, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like